The tenets of democracy are skills for living in our society that include tolerance, critical thinking and decision-making, thinking together and making meaning, power sharing and empowerment, and individual responsibility and civil involvement with others. More information on this can be found in the Technology as Facilitator of Quality Education model. The students in this 8th grade science class are learning about the properties of sound. A media specialist introduces the students to the Artemis Digital Library, a collection of World Wide Web resources the students can use to search for information on sound waves. As the students search, they use their critical thinking skills to observe how sound moves from one place to another. The teacher uses a series of questions to get the students to describe how sound travels.
If you want to do, no, I would do some interactive stuff too. I mean, see how the wave travels. So as we begin speaking about how that sound moves, you know, from one place to another, how does it go? It's good for you to see that. How does sound travel?
Vibrates through a medium.
Through a medium, okay. And what do they travel on?
Longitudinal or transitional waves.
Okay, do they travel in transitional waves, or, I mean, that's kind of the image that the equipment we have available to us shows it to us as, right? But it really travels as a longitudinal wave. So, do you know how a longitudinal wave works, so you can explain it to us?
A longitudinal wave means the motion of the atoms are in the same as the direction of the wave.
Can you stop that? Sorry.
And does it make sense that sound travels that way?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, so you'll be able to explain that to us. Great.
After the students have finished their search, they discuss the information they found as a class. The students demonstrate thinking together and making meaning as they communicate their ideas and information. The teacher asks for all the important information the students have found and writes it on the board. By collecting and examining everyone's ideas, the teacher helps the class come to a deeper understanding of the properties of sound.
So, how does sound travel? Tell me.
Can I start?
Yeah.
Okay. Sound travels by movement. Without movement, you can't have sound. So what happens is an object moves, the waves hit the molecules, and the molecules move, and that's what creates the sound.
Okay, so we have movement of molecules, okay? So, give me an example of molecules that would move in order to transmit sound. Bram?
Air molecules.
Okay, so how does sound travel? By moving molecules, right?
To add on to what Corey said, I found a fact about sound through air. If the air has no moisture and it's 0 degrees Celsius, the speed of sound through it is 331.6 meters per second.
Okay, so what does that piece of information tell me then?
It tells you that that number would vary with not only temperature but also moisture. Like if there were water in the air, then that would obstruct the sound waves because it would stop the air molecules from moving around as fast, and then the sound wouldn't move quite as fast. Same thing for temperature.
What is it about that arrangement that could affect the speed of sound that would make this make sense? Chris?
Since the sounds are arranged, the molecules are very close together. When they vibrate, they don't have to vibrate as much and as far away to hit the next one and transfer the energy. So it takes a lot less time.
The students use critical thinking skills to apply what they have learned about sound waves. They use their new knowledge to describe the relationship between amplitude and sound. They again use their critical thinking skills to associate what they know about sound with movies they have seen. They again apply their new knowledge to explain that there can be no sound in a vacuum.
And sound is actually traveling from here to here, but in order to get there, it has to move all these molecules. So when it bumps into molecules, it's a compression, right? And then as it moves on to the next set of molecules, this expands, right? So molecules move like this, okay? The molecules compress together, they expand, and then it hits another group and expands, so that all the molecules from here to there get hit with the energy in order to hear that sound. Now, is it just like one line of molecules like this?
No.
No? So how many molecules would you imagine would be able to be affected this way?
Millions.
Depends on how loud the sound is.
So, I mean, is it just going to be this small? I mean, like this? The size of my mouth?
A half circle.
It expands. Yeah.
And what would allow it to expand?
The air.
The air, and also what?
Volume.
The amplitude.
All right, probably the amplitude, right? All right, because it allows, and does sound then, the minute I don't hear it anymore, does sound go away?
So eventually the force is going to diminish.
Okay, eventually the force is going to
Theoretically, in space, the sound would travel forever.
Or never, because there's nothing to transmit to.
In space, very good question. Would there be sound?
No, there's nothing
No.
for
But if there were sound, it would travel
Because
forever.
there are no molecules for it to bounce off.
That's what I like about 2001: A Space Odyssey. Like, in a lot of stuff, you see big explosions in space, and the Space Odyssey, there's absolutely no sound from it in space.
It's complete silence.
Like Star Wars, they have
Yeah,
big
yeah, exactly.
explosions and stuff.
And you hear, that was to give you the feeling that, like,
Could be produced, it would travel forever because there's no friction there. But then again, there's nothing there anyway.
yeah, that was actually a very, very good movie.
The students use Sound Edit software to explore how variations in frequency and amplitude affect sound waves. The students use their critical thinking skills to associate the variables involved with the production and projection of sound. They experience civil involvement with others as they work cooperatively with their partners. They demonstrate positive participation and promote accountability in the group.
400?
It works.
No, yeah, 400.
I write about it. Alright, where's the
And then for this thing, it's 100.
That tone. Get away.
It makes the screen vibrate.
Oh god, we gotta try it. Try 800.
What are you doing?
We have to find the tone. Everyone has to do
So you
it.
have to go back.
We'll have to find the tone. We have to find the tone.
Remember where it was? It was in that folder. I don't know why it was in there, but it was.
Hey, do you have sound edit?